is kind of how's your background in sports? Do you think how will that help you in this job?
Well, I mean, I really wanted to get this job at Home Depot because my dad does a lot of work here at the house, and I really like helping him with that kind of stuff. So I think it would help a lot. I really enjoy the tool parts of that, and yeah, and I think sports would help me because I'm a fit guy. So if I need to lift anything or something around that, won't be any problem for me.
Okay. Can you give me some examples of the area in the Home Depot that you think that you would start in, like what department, and then where do you see yourself, what kind of department do you see yourself progressing into afterwards based on, like you said, your dad does a lot of work around the house. So walk me through where you'd start and kind of over time, say in a year, where you'd like to be.
All right. Well, ideally, as the job listing said, I'd start a cashier, but I think as I progressed, I think I could go into more detailed jobs, maybe customer service, stuff like that, and helping the customers around the store. And I mean, if this little job manifests into something bigger, I think it would be a great opportunity for me. And if it's there, I definitely take it.
Do you have any like departments in Home Depot that you would like to work in, whether it's hardware, whether it's furniture, whether it's like, is there anything that you, even though it might start off as a cashier job, that might get boring pretty quickly?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where do you see growth in terms of what other areas in Home Depot you might work?
Well, I think the hardware, I think that would be a great spot. I really do like the tools. I think that would be where I'd love to go. And if I was given that opportunity, that would be pretty cool. And I think I'd definitely take that. Yeah.
Excellent. What in terms of when you start off at Home Depot, obviously you're in a customer service position all the time. What do you think some of your attributes are, characteristics that would help you work with customers?
Well, I mean, I've been a referee for about, I think, 5 years now. So I'm used to talking to people that I don't maybe know as well as I'd like to. And I think my communication would really help with that. And I speak two languages, which would help if somebody doesn't speak English and then they speak French. That could help me a lot, I think. And yeah.
What kind of skills do you have at dealing with customer conflict? So you got someone like Coach Lloyd that comes in there and starts giving you a hard time about something that really you're just the final person taking the sale. But how would you deal with, let's say, a customer that's complaining about a product that the store said they had in stock and now they don't, and you just end up getting blasted by that? So what kind of skill sets do you have to deal with that stuff?
I think again, it comes back to my refereeing experience because you're not going to make calls that everybody likes all the time. It's impossible, no matter what happens, no matter how good the call is. So I've definitely had a lot of experience with somebody who's arguing with me, and you try to find the middle ground as much as you can, and you try to mediate the conflict. And or maybe it's a part in stock, you can look it up, see, hey, I can get it to you by next week. And if they don't like that, you can ask your manager, as simple as that, and see what we can get from there.
Can you walk me through on that example of refereeing soccer? Can you walk me through an example that you remember that was one of the harder conflicts you've had to deal with, some lunatic coach yelling at you? What can I just give you a piece of advice too, Gaber? Like sometimes when you get asked questions, it's okay just to take a second and wait, right? Like you can just say, "Hey, I need to take a second to think that through." So never rush. The goal is to get the best answer using your own experiences. So yeah, give me an example of how you've dealt with a wingnut coach, and so I can get a sense of how you deal with conflict.
Uh, I think the worst one is that I knew the guy, like I knew a coach, and I thought he made a good call. He did not agree with me, and I went over there and I said, simple as this: we can try to. You can either stop talking to me, or we can try to figure out a middle ground here. We can stop talking to each other, or you can simply leave. It's simple as that. And I think that would really help me at Home Depot because I mean I've been used to people not being happy with me, and so if that happens there, I can use the skills that I gained from refereeing.
Okay, excellent. How would you, in terms of just shifts at Home Depot, if it came down to, would you be able to let us know the shifts that you would want to work? And if there were some issues with the different shifts, would you be comfortable explaining why you couldn't take a shift and maybe take another? So the first question is, yeah,
Well, I
just kind
mean,
of shifts you'd be interested in, and what would happen if you couldn't take a shift, and how would you communicate that?
well, on weekends I'd be available all the time, uh, but throughout the week I'd be I'd be Tuesday to Thursday, and then Monday, Friday, I don't think I could work. But if I couldn't, if I got a shift and I couldn't work, I'd communicate it to maybe somebody that I'm working with, or maybe the manager who's giving me the shift, and let's try not to give me a shift like that again. Or maybe it's just because I I got something. Maybe there's an emergency and I can't go. I definitely have to communicate it to another person at the work. Try
Okay,
to see if he could.
thank you. What, we get a number of individuals around your age wanting summer employment. Why would we take you over another uh, another school aged person? Why you over
Yeah.
another person your age? What makes you stand out?
Well, I think I mean I've worked a lot in teams throughout sports my entire life, and I think I'm great at working in teams in that sense. I'm a good leader. I've been the captain of my soccer team for uh, 5 years, I believe. Uh, and I mean, I've got a lot of skills that I've gained from different experiences in my life, such as I can speak French, which not everybody can do. I've I've had experience in the work with refereeing, uh, and I know what it is to like get a shift and go in and do what you need to do, and then you leave. So I think that's what differentiates me from others.
So just a couple more questions, building off what you just said there. What do you think are, what would you say are the one or two most important leadership skills that you possess to make the Home Depot team a better team? What do you bring
Well,
to the table?
I think it's just bringing everybody together. It's finding a kind of a common goal and everybody working towards it. And I think I'm very good at that with because of sports, everybody has one goal and that's to win. And I think I'm very good at making everybody fight for that one common goal. Also, I'm a pretty vocal guy, so I'm if I'm not happy with something that's happening, I can communicate it with somebody else, and we can try to resolve the problem that is happening.
All righty. That's all I have, my friend. Um, Great interview.
All
We
right.
will be in touch, and I'm sure you'll be a great asset to the Home Depot team. My only piece of advice, and it's not so much, it's just as you get older and do more interviews, you'll hear people say this. They're called behavioral type interviews. So whenever you're going through interview questions or you're trying to predict what those questions are, try to think of examples of what you've done that support the answer. So as you got into the interview, you started giving examples. I asked questions more of examples of things that you've done or would do, because
Yeah.
that gives me a sense of what you'd be like at Home Depot. Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know you very well as a goalie, as a person, your family. I know, even though I haven't seen you in a year and a bit, I know your strengths.
Mhm.
So those examples are what I think about. And your dad in the private sector
Exactly.
and my dad in the private sector would say the same thing. We want to know what a person is like, because that's a predictor of what they'll be like in the future. So when you're interviewing some lady, some gentleman that doesn't know you, the more examples you can give of
Yeah.
what you've done, it's more of a slam dunk.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
How are you liking Riverside? How's the transition in the last 2 years to high school been?